Thank you to BetterHelp for sponsoring this episode. BetterHelp is the world's largest therapy service and is 100% online. With BetterHelp, you can tap into a network of over 30,000 licensed and experienced therapists who can help you with a wide range of issues. To get started, you just answer a few questions about your needs and preferences in therapy. That way, BetterHelp can match you with the right therapist from their network. Then you can talk to a therapist however you feel comfortable, whether it's via text, chat, phone, or video call. You can message your therapist at any time, night or day, and schedule live sessions when it's convenient for you. If your therapist isn't the right fit for any reason, you can switch to a new therapist at no additional charge. With BetterHelp, you can get the same professionalism and quality you expect from in-office therapy, but with a therapist who is custom picked for you, more scheduling flexibility, and at a more affordable price. Get 10% off with your first month at BetterHelp.com/XOOF That's BetterHelp.com/XOOF life.
Hello.
Hey.
So this is Rich.
This is Jermaine.
And this is BDE Street. So
It's two times you done stole it from me, but
yeah, well, you know, it is what it is.
Right.
I do have to earn my money here, I guess.
Yep.
Like we're making money anyway.
That's a good point.
So before we get into our actual subject, I'm going to say something that's very, very important. Motherfuck raccoons.
Really? Dang, you just dedicate.
Listen, we are so tired of these little bastards eating the garbage, and they've tipped over this garbage can twice. We've had to break out the shovel and broom and dustpan. It's a whole shenanigan.
Oh man, that reminds me of there was a time that, well, in all the places I live, there was an infestation of raccoons too. It was to the point where we had to put ammonia and all types of repellents all over the cans just to deter them from getting in there and tearing it apart.
I may start to sit out and take a night out and sleep on the hammock and just take out the 9 and just.
They're never going to show up if they see you there.
Well, I mean, then I may have to move outside then. No, but man, look, it's ridiculous.
You don't see none of them? You've never seen any?
Oh, I've seen them. They're big motherfuckers too. They're thick.
Yeah.
The
ones that I remember, they were bold. I'm talking they had, I ain't gonna say experience, but they had some moxie to them. I mean, these
some shit.
Yeah, they were veterans to the point where.
Yeah, it's scars.
They
one had the tattoo teardrop.
A teardrop down his black eye or whatever, the black mask. No, I'm dead serious. These things were. I mean, they didn't shy away from human contact. I'm talking to the point where it would probably be 10 at night, and they would be out, and they would be on the back porch to the point where my ex at the time was cooking some chicken. And you could know, I guess you could smell the aroma from the fried chicken.
Right.
And I opened up the door and the one came, he actually came to the door as if I was going to give him a treat or something. He was ready to accept some food out of my hand if I was going to present it to him. And he lifted up and sniffed, you could tell he smelled the what was cooking and was scrumptious or something. I'm holy hell, this raccoon don't give a fuck. They were bout it raccoons, yo, seriously.
So the moral of that story is curb stomp your local raccoon. for me. But
you better watch, they might have something on them. Well, they might be carrying a little 22 in their little fur.
I just don't look, for whatever reason, we accumulate a lot of garbage in this house. I don't know why. We're those weird people that have 10 bags in a week. So I'm just waiting until we get raided. People are there's some people missing, man. Why do you have all the bags? Don't worry about it. It's fine. But yeah, it's
See Dahmer.
You're right. It's,
On
it's
Netflix.
just frustrating, man. Like, if anyone has any tips, let me know, because
Yeah, we used to, like I said, put the cans out and then put like damn near. First, we tried to put rocks on top of the can on the.
we have these little locks. We have like these little, like, they're like not like bike locks, but kind of like.
What, they
bike
supposed to
locks.
strap it down and
Yeah.
they still somehow get through it?
Well, I think what they did is they knocked it over and they broke the back of it
Oh,
off.
okay,
So
okay.
they're like, haha, gotcha, bitch.
Yeah.
And
Like, we used to put like heavy rocks on top of the lids and they still found a way, to the point we had to, leading up to moving out of that place, the last couple, I don't want to say months, we had cinder blocks. Like, I had to go and
Jesus.
find cinder blocks.
well, you
to
saw
put-
the one, and you know
They had ripped down the bottom.
They nibbled the bottom. Like, how do you eat the bottom? How the fuck do you combat that?
That's called an excessive amount of hunger. When you are hungry, you will chew through anything to get to. If you know that there is a meal behind
Right.
a piece of tough plastic, and you're hungry enough and you could smell it, your nose is good enough to smell it, your teeth would be full of plastic too, because you would be trying to get. I mean, that hunger drives you that much.
Yeah.
And as an animal with animal instinct, they'll go through it. Even if they got to take shifts, even if one got to be like, all right, man, you take the first layer of plastic, and then I'm gonna come in after you. You know, they'll work
Raccoons
together.
that smart though? Are they able to?
I don't know if they're like really like. I don't know if their intelligence level was up there with a dolphin or anything like that. But if they got to your can,
Well, I know-
they know something.
I know Tiff is talking about getting this little. It's like a garbage house type of deal. She has the verbiage on it. I'm an idiot.
Garbage house.
I don't know. It's like so. It's kind of like this. It's like
It just sounds stupid.
it's like a fucking garbage shed kind of holder thing.
Oh, okay.
She
okay,
said
okay.
it's kind of like lattice you put under a deck to kind of keep things out. It's kind of the same general thing. Like, you can open and shut it. And you just put the trash cans in there.
Okay.
And like, if they can get into that, I'm just gonna fucking weaponize them at that point. I'm just gonna figure out how to like make them do cool shit for me, like the dishes.
You said I'm gonna
You're gonna-
weaponize them.
Right? If you're gonna cause my house an issue, then I'm gonna make you earn it.
Yeah, by
So
the
put
end
you
of
to
this
work.
summer, you're gonna have like a little whistle, and
Right.
they gonna line up in
Right.
single line, and they gonna
Yeah.
have to be saluting you and everything.
Yes, sir. Oh, Christ. All right. Well, anyway, let's get to our actual show. I've been having these little diatribe things I need to kind of get off my chest where I can cuss a bunch. So, yeah. Anyway. So, the story that not the story, but the subject we're kind of going to go over is kind of like a back to the future, not back to the future, I keep saying that. Going back in the past, and if you had some kind of magical time machine to go back 10 years, 20 years, whatever, and kind of what that would all look like, you know, if you could, you know, negate the whole butterfly effect idea
Yeah.
and just, well, I guess maybe not negate it, I guess maybe actually utilize it, except just for your benefit, or, you know, so it's just
The
going to
Pimps in Time from Chappelle. They're going back in there.
Yes.
Go back in town.
Yes.
He's like,
oh man, what a good episode.
overseer. You know, that was one of the funniest.
You know what might be a good draft here. Ooh,
What? Chappelle character?
top Chappelle clips. Like top out of that. I mean, we're not going to talk about the third season because that wasn't really. Yeah,
It wasn't really a third season. Was
I
it?
mean, there
Bonus
was
features or something.
it was just basically just Charlie Murphy and
Oh, yeah,
Donald Owens
yeah.
doing the whole,
Doing-
and they were good. Like, they're both super funny dudes, but it's kind of like
saying,
it's kind of like a band where the lead singer dies and they get somebody else in there, and it's like,
No, yeah, it's almost like a meal without the main entree. Like, how is
Right.
the peas
How
and
is
the
your potatoes and
corn?
carrots?
Yeah, how are
Right.
they gonna make up for it without having a steak or a piece of chicken or
Right.
You know, come on. That's just.
That might be a good one. We may have to.
I mean, can you fill up on potatoes and green beans? Yeah, but
damn right, I've done it before on purpose.
My thing with the time thing, let me ask you right out the gates.
Yep.
If someone offered you 2 time passes, I'm going to call them time passes.
Okay.
So whether you want to go, well, there's no future here.
Right.
No one can go in the future. Well, let's just cut the future completely.
There's no
out.
future here. We're all
We're eliminating the future as a
so we're just going straight, like right now is end of our time, like right now in the present.
Leading up. I mean, even if you're talking about going back to the beginning of this podcast,
okay,
we can go anywhere in the back. Not in the back. That didn't sound right. He said, mm-hmm. No, but we can go anywhere in the past. Now,
I mean, it is Pride Month, so
we call it. So I'm gonna call them time passes.
Okay.
So 2 passes through time in the past. Would you rather have 2 passes that you can use in the past 10 years? Or would you rather have 1 pass to go past 20 years and beyond? Even before you were born. So, do you really want to change what happened in the past 10 years and you got 2 passes? Or are you like, hey man, let me take the big whopper and go 20 plus and go all the way back?
Okay, so here are the caveats I need to know. Are you going back on both of them? Do you have the knowledge you have now?
Yes.
Okay. So, what's the purpose of having 2 for the 10 years?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I mean, is there really 2 egregious mistakes you made in 10 years? I mean,
well, wouldn't it make more sense if you went back? Like, if you made, let's say, 2 years ago you made a real bad mistake, but then 8 years ago you made a big mistake too. Wouldn't you just go back to the 8-year one, and then the 2-year one would never happen?
You're right.
Like, I don't mean to poke holes in your idea.
No, I mean, poke holes by all means, poke away. No, but I'm just saying, I mean...
You're really about those weird statements today, ain't you?
Oh, yeah, dang. That was the second one.
Yeah, it was. In like 2 minutes. I think you just used 2 of your passes right there.
Well, see?
But
see?
Yeah, I don't mean to break
but
that,
are they correlated? I mean, do you really think the 8-year pass, the 8-year going back 8 years is directly correlated to the mistake that was made 2 years ago? I mean, they could be totally different.
So the purpose of going back 8 years, you're going to go back with the knowledge you have.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, also, with that being said, you would currently have the knowledge of that 2-year back mistake as well. So theoretically, you wouldn't really put yourself in said position.
But at the same time, I'm not okay. You're thinking that you got to use these passes consecutively, like you have to use them at the same time. I'm talking like you just got 2 passes to use at any point, so you can go back to the 8-year pass, correct your mistake, and then later on down the road you can use another. But know that you only have 2 passes, or you just got 1 pass to correct whatever you got to do 20 years and beyond, or back, and you just got to live with whatever happens from that point.
All right, so 20 years would make me 17. 20 years would make you, what, 53 or some shit?
That would actually make me 25.
Yeah. Oh, man. My knees feel better even thinking about that.
20 years and beyond.
Yeah.
So,
all right, so it's not just 20, it's 20 plus, so you can go back as far as you want.
As you want to. Mm-hmm. So even before you was born. So if you,
I don't think there's any way to not do the 20 years. I don't think 10 years makes any sense because you get 2 of them. It's like, okay, cool story, but
yeah. I mean, I just don't see too many things that I've done that was just so horrific.
Yeah.
That 10 years of somehow that'll correct or dramatically change my life. For these past 10 years,
I would take the 20-year one. Yeah. I mean, I would just go back to maybe being 15.
Would you go beyond your own life? Like, would you go to like World War II or, you know.
Smack the shit out of Hitler.
Yeah, out of Hitler. Or, yeah, that's what I was thinking. Like,
but then
like, I mean,
there? Like, what happens?
That's this. Like, you can't go back there, change a bunch of things, and then fast forward to now, or can't. I mean, there's no regulation, but
I mean, yeah, but there has to be some kind of thing.
Because you can just like, hey, I'm gonna go back and do like.
Well, hold on here.
Like, I don't want to. I mean, like,
yeah, I mean,
I want to, do something with a slave master or something like. But I don't want to be stuck in that time. You crazy.
Shout out to Chappelle Show.
Yeah, I mean, like, I would love to smack the butt off of a rifle into a slave master's head or face, but I don't want to be stuck there afterwards. Right. I definitely don't want that.
Okay, let's add this here. So, okay.
Or like Hot Tub Time Machine, where we went to the 80s, and he was like, we stuck in the 80s? The dude that be on the piece of cut commercials, he was like, oh, man, I can't get a job.
Craig Robinson? Is that
yeah, I think so. He was stuck in the 80s. He knew he wasn't going to get a job.
Oh, no. All right, here, let me change up your question.
Okay.
So, the time you can go back is completely unlimited. All right, on both cases.
Okay.
Now, you can go back and change something in history or your history, but you have to stay there. Or you can go back, change something, and come back to the same kind of time.
Okay, so you're saying if you want to change your own history,
yeah,
you go back, you got to stay there.
Right.
But if you want to just change history as we know it, you can fast forward back to 2023.
Right.
Oh.
Now
makes it a lot more interesting.
Right, because I don't, and it still may, by proxy still affect you, but it's not going to be like a direct effect kind of thing. So it's almost like, do you want to be selfless or selfish? But like not selfish in the conventional way of thinking, like you're not just, hold on here. Yeah, let me shut up because I got my idea. I know what I'm going to do.
Well, I mean, ain't no sense of trying to, keep the coat on. I mean, or keep the clothes on.
What the fuck are you saying right now?
It's time to get naked. It's time to just let it out. Like, what are you saying? Oh, I'll do that later. It's time now. Like, let me start.
Number 3 for the podcast for you.
Let me start off, with my major.
Okay, yeah, that's what I was saying. Let me wait, because I put it on you, so that's why I'm saying I'm going to wait.
In my own life, my biggest fork in the road is definitely relates to my situation now as far as being separated. My biggest fork in the road is when I was with my ex and I went to college, my first year of college. If I could have somehow just let that, because, hey, I should have just been like, hey, I'm going off to college.
Mm-hmm.
We're done. Thanks for being there. We went to the prom and everything, Thanks for being there for high school, but, I'm going to be not caught up, but I'm going to be focused in on I
need to take care of me right now.
Yeah, I'm going to be focused in on my school. I can't guarantee you I can be faithful to you. I'm going to be a college student. No, instead of that, I let, it linger around where she kept coming up and kept coming to the dorm and staying, and, it became well known around campus that I already had a girlfriend, it's like, it cut me off from all opportunities.
Right.
If I would have done that, I think today there's some girl that was, in college that I was really digging. We were really cool, and I think, man, I'm not saying I would have been with that person, but that would have been my first fork in the road to the right or to the left other than her. And who knows
Jessica, he misses you.
No, the girl's name was Udemy.
The fuck?
Yeah. It was a unique name, but she's a gorgeous girl. And we were like in a bunch of classes, and we took chemistry together, we would study together, do stuff together, and
I bet you
would.
would.
And she definitely, I didn't know that she was like feeling me. I was taking, I ain't gonna say the nerd route, but I was taking I'm pretty smart, and she was always asking for help, and we would do chemistry together.
Yeah.
And our guys, we don't take hints very well, but from what I've been told, she was throwing all types of hints, and her friends would be like, "Oh, Demi likes you."
Hold on.
What?
Would it be safe to say that you had chemistry together?
Good one. Yup. So literally and figuratively, we had.
Was she the one that got away for you? Like, how there's always that.
That is definitely someone I look back and I'm like, man, I should, because it was one time that my ex at the time was down in the lobby waiting on me to come sign her into the dorm. And as I'm coming through the doors, the Demi girl's coming out, and she's like, "Hey, Jermaine, what's up, baby?" And I was just like, "Hey, what's up, beauty?" And of course, from my ex, I had to hear that all night. Why she calling you baby and all that? I'm like, I don't know. It was a figure of speech. I was like, we in classes together, but
yeah,
that is definitely one of the ones that got away for sure.
Interesting.
So who knows where that would have went. So that's one major fork in the road that I wish I could have turned more left instead of right.
More like a fuck in the road.
So I'm definitely using one of my passes to correct my own history. Not saying that my life would have I would have became the president of the United States or anything because of that. But I just think that if someone said, name one point in your past that you can change and you have to just live with it. Even if you told me I had to go back there and just live from that point on, I would accept that. That is the point that I would. I hate to say this, but at the same time, my kids wouldn't have been born, so I don't mean to be, what do you want to call it? I don't mean to be cruel or anything. I mean, I love my kids, but I don't know. That's just one point that
I know what you're trying to say. It's kind of one of those things where it's like you don't know what you would have been. You more than likely would have been much happier.
I'm just saying, there's definitely points that's in your past that you can. It's probably a whole bunch of points you want to correct, like some money or a big deal or something that went down. No, if someone told me to name my top 5 points I would want to go back, I would probably name you 5 of them. But if they said you can only narrow it down to one time, that would be it. For sure.
Fair enough.
So where you at? Where you at, big boy?
I'm going to say that's 3.5. So this is completely self-serving and it's completely out of character because I'm not that guy.
Okay.
But it hit me and I'm like, oh, this is the no-brainer because I'm not going to go back and change anything. I'm going to go back and do something.
Okay.
So I don't exactly know when this initially came out. So if someone wants to vet that, go ahead. If it just go with the story though, it doesn't really matter.
Okay.
I'll just say I'll go back to being when I was 15, and I would find a job
15.
and work as many hours as I was able to work, and work and work and work, collect as much money as I can.
Okay.
Invest in Bitcoin when it first hit. And then do something I don't really normally do, and that's pull out quick. You're welcome.
I wish I could invest in Sony PlayStation, but go ahead.
But because that blew up insanely, it's like $67,000 per share now. So if you think about, let's just say it was $1 when you invested it, when you invested in it, right? It was $1 a share. You put 10,000 in that. That's what? Is that 6.7 mil at that point now?
If you're saying, yeah. If you're saying 67,000 per share, and you put 10,000 into that, yeah. It's either 6.7 million or 60.7 million. I don't know the zeros.
Yeah, do the math here on that real quick, 'cause I'm curious.
So, you said 67,000 a share, correct?
Yep.
Okay. And we'll take that.
At least it was the last time I checked. I don't know what it is
Take
now.
that times 10,000. That's 670 million.
Oh, okay. I thought I was lowballing it. Math is hard.
670 million.
Yeah.
God damn.
So I would go back and work hours and just invest in something. That would be what I mean. You just think about how well off you would be, even if you just put $100 in that. What does that end up being?
Now that you say that, forget my example. Let me go back to make some money, and I'll make everything else work.
Fair. Yeah.
So you said how much?
If I just put in $100,
$100.
let's just say
67,000 times 100. That's the 6.7 million, right?
which
there.
is ridiculous.
Yeah, off of $100, you got 6.7
Right.
million. That's
So,
insane.
like I said, it's completely self-serving, but there's always been that saying around there where, money doesn't buy happiness. Yeah.
Yeah,
How many
okay.
happy poor people do you see? The silly motherfucker that said that was rich.
Yes.
And money buys convenience and money buys comfort.
Money can't buy me
equals-
love, but it can buy me some pussy.
There you go.
So if you whatever you value as far as love, it'll be.
I just look at it like the person money buys comfort and convenience, and that equals happiness.
money. We've talked about it. Money is a access point. It's a status symbol. It is a.
It's your gateway drug.
It says it's access. It means that I can go into any building I want to.
Mm-hmm.
Eat any food I feel like eating, sleep where I want to sleep, bring who I want to bring, leave when I want to leave. It's an access. It's an access card that says there's no club that can stop me from doing what I want to do.
Right.
Pretty
Yeah,
much.
money trumps most things, and
Yes.
yeah, I think that's what I would do. I don't really have any big regrets or anything like that. Like I've always been that guy that looks at kind of the road that got me to where I am, and I appreciate those things and I pull things from them, and I think that's what actually makes character. I think that's what makes you and builds your person. You're raised a certain way, you have that foundation, yada yada yada. But what makes you kind of who you are is one, your ability to extract lessons and anything out of any situation you've been through. Like, look, for example, all my family's dead. They've been dead since I've been 18. I'm 37, so I've literally now been on this earth longer without a family than I have with a family. And because of that, it's made me very independent in my life, and I wouldn't say I'm a control freak by any stretch, but I'm a bit meticulous, probably more meticulous than most. And at least in some things. Other things I'm like, fuck you, I catch on fire, I don't give a shit. But there are things that matter to me. I'm very meticulous. Like, let's talk about, the podcast itself. As we've gone on, and you've checked me a few times because I sent you some sketchy texts. And you're like, the fuck? And I'm like, look, my bad, man. I was in my feels, and I was feeling myself, and I had to pull back.
Yeah.
But it's just kind of how I am, because I'm very, I want to do it this way. I think in my head, yada, yada, yada. I don't like help. I don't like accepting help. It's very difficult for me. I would rather suffer and make it through than ask somebody for help that would make the road incredibly more easy.
Just to highlight, you went back and you've changed and you invested in Bitcoin.
Yeah.
What are the consequences behind that? What kind of asshole would you be today if you did have 670 million? You wouldn't be sitting here. You wouldn't be Mr. Meticulous. So you would be somewhere on a yacht. I'm on a boat. Or you would be, by the time you turned 20-something, you would have became a snobbish asshole. You would be totally a different person.
Maybe. And it's an interesting point, because if we're talking about the road that gets you to where you are, and I'm all about, it builds your character and yada yada yada. So if we take that vein of thought, I would like to say, just from a face value standpoint, no, that wouldn't be me. But I also can't 100% say it would be me. I mean, it's all hypothetical. Like in my head, I would think, no, I think I would just be happier. I would just be happier. I wouldn't have to worry about stuff. I would just, wouldn't be like offering old fashions for people to sign up for the Patreon here.
No, I'm just saying. I mean, I understand that you saying that you would still, have some type of character and reputation, but once all those those necessary necessities are out the way, you got, you got tons of property. You got anybody in your family. You don't know anyone, but anybody that you gave an ounce of a fuck about is taken care of. After that, that's when the asshole snob set in, because then you start diminishing and demeaning people that don't have the amount of money you have. So the snob is built up gradually, as opposed to you just come right out of the if you were born into at some point, if you come into a lot of money. And I don't even care I'm 45. So if I somehow hit the lottery and I'm entitled to $670 million from tomorrow on, I think the first 2 or 3 years I'm gonna kind of still be the same. I can just do a lot more, and I'm gonna make sure everybody's taken care of. But after that, the assholism, which is not a word, is gonna somehow start seeping in, and I'm going to become an asshole at some point. It's inevitable.
Yeah, but
that's kind of my.
I'm just saying though, like scoreboard though. Look at the fucking bank account. I'm just saying, look at the bank account.
He started looking at something behind me. I'm like, what?
No, I get it. Like, and that definitely would be the trade-off. I don't think anybody can outright say, yeah, if I had, damn near $750 million.
You're not walking into a store and you're holding the door open for some lady to walk in, because your head has exploded.
Why does that happen? Why is that a thing? So, because I know it's a status symbol and it's the like, as you put, the access card, but why does that trigger?
Because the more access you have, it breeds a godlike feeling, like as if you can't be told anything. I mean, money has the effect that you can literally get away with murder. Ask OJ.
Yeah.
You can literally get away with murder with so much money.
Oh, and we don't have a knife sound on the soundboard.
I thought you did, like king.
Oh man! I mean, hold on here. I think there's like a ring thing here. Hold on. Oh, this is gonna be
hit the gun.
Yeah, close enough.
Or hit the gun. I mean, that's a significant. That means somebody being killed. Yeah. But you get a godlike complex.
Yeah.
Because
here's the thing. Here's the retort though. More often than not, you're hanging with those same. I don't know why I said had like a stroke mid-sentence there. You're hanging out with the same people of your status. Like, you're not going to McDonald's. You're not going to Dollar General. So, like,
it's beneath you at that point.
That door is already being held for you when you're going into places. You know what I mean? Like, it almost feels like... I mean, there's still that holier-than-thou mentality. But
I mean, like, okay. You get your $670 million tomorrow.
Yeah. God, stop saying that, because I'm looking for...
You're like wishing it into an existence now.
I'm gonna make myself
you're going to look at your PNC bank account and be like, where is the rest of the zeros? Because you done talked yourself into believing you got this
I'm going to
money.
call them like, hey, guys,
y'all made a mistake. Y'all need to correct my account.
There's only 67 cents in here. There's supposed to be some commas and shit.
Like, y'all need to correct my account. Something happened.
Let me talk to the manager.
Okay, yeah, let me get your supervisor. And you're going to get me, and I'm going to be like, fuck you.
Yep.
But, you get that.
Yeah.
Okay? 2 years from now, good old Nick calls you over and says, hey, man, come on over and watch the game with us. you're gonna be like,
Who the fuck are you?
motherfucker, I can go to the game and buy a fucking suite.
I can buy the team.
Yeah, yes.
They'll play in my backyard.
So,
Let's go.
I mean,
Right.
now you're too big to come watch the game with Nick?
Yeah.
I mean...
Well, and that's actually what I was going to mention to you. I'm like, would you still be chilling with the dudes that you grew up with? I don't think anybody can say yeah. I mean, it sounds good.
I mean,
there's
my crew.
very few people.
My
that
Black
do
Rain crew, I'm sorry. Man, I don't think I can enjoy my money without them being around. So... I would have them around, but I don't know how much I would tolerate them because it would be like, I don't know.
It's like you can't go to
What
here.
people like,
you can't take 2 months off and go to Cancun with me. Kick rocks.
yeah.
But yeah, I mean that's.
But
the
then
thing,
you would
like-
become like a borrowing machine. Like, wouldn't you start getting tired of your friends always coming to you like, "Hey man, I messed up, man," because you want to give them money to set themselves up. Like, I'm not a big fan of just handing out money to friends and family. I want to set you up with something that's going to make you more money that you can responsibly continue to make more
Accrued
money.
equity, absolutely.
And I don't want you to just blow through it and then come to me like, "Man, I blew it on drugs and bitches and." No. You know what I'm saying? I want you to invest that heavily. So,
Well, I think I would give the people I would give money to, I'd give them an option. Kind of, I would say, okay, here's what, kind of like how when you win the lottery, you can do it over time or you get the lump sum. I'm not doing that because I'm not just going to give you allowance because I don't have that to do.
okay.
I think I would give them this option. Okay, we can do some kind of investment for you that will accrue money, that will set you up, or some kind of business, or something like that. Something that can be your money-making machine. But you need to do the work with it. Or I can give you a lump sum that's going to be less than what would be actually invested, and that will be your gift for me. Because at this point, like, Jordan, I don't owe you shit. Like, I won this, you didn't. I'm doing this because, you know, I guess the lizard brain in our heads. It's like, okay, I got this. I want everyone else to eat too, which is a good thing to do. Like, you don't want to be a selfish asshole. But you know, there is also no obligation to do this for these people. But I think giving people that option, it's like, okay, look, you're still getting something, but you can either have something and you can build it, or you can just have this money and you can just kick back and, you know, spend that wisely. So either way, you're still doing quote unquote work. It just depends on what kind of person you are. If you're going to be responsible enough to, you know, because I'm saying I would 670 mil. I'll give my people $1 million. I'm not going any more than that. Well, why can't you give me more? Because fuck you. That's why. It's my money. But you know,
Like a meal.
Yeah.
So
let's
let's like kind of circle back to the time thing because we starting to let the money thing creeping in. So we're talking about, but like time is money and money. Remember, this whole time thing came about because you said that you feel that time is more important and more valuable than money. So, okay, we both got out the way our own individual time travel and corrections, not just the world. Period. Like not saying that you want to make this change, but is there any change that if you think that you went back or someone went back and changed something that maybe happened in the future that you bring into the past would be very impactful or different? There would be a different America today.
So if I can go back and change a period in history.
In history, yeah.
Oh man. I need to mull this over because I need to determine which way I want to go with this.
Yeah, there's so many.
Do you have something on deck here, or do you want to get you want to take a 5 to think of this?
Yeah, I mean, I don't have anything just boiling off the top of my head because this is all right. How much impact it's going to have? I mean, that's a lot to bite off and a lot to chew. But time is definitely more important than money. That's another thing that we're talking about. Even if you got your 670 million, even though I said let's get off of that.
Right.
You still can't slow down time. You're still going to grow old. You're
Right.
still going to have the health problems.
Right.
Is there anything that you can counteract, because with that inordinate amount of money? Or what would you rather have, all that money and you're going to die at 50? Or would you rather be exactly who you are and you're guaranteed to live to 65?
Fuck that. I'm living till 50. Fuck you guys.
Let me live good and short, huh?
Look, that's because how many years are squandered just due
Struggling, man.
to like struggling.
I don't know how many
sickness.
years. Like I want to say the past 5. I can't even tell you what happened in any of the years because
Right.
it's like it was just a big
But
one
if you
big
had-
struggle.
If you had money and you were going on trips and cruises and doing it, I'm
You're
quite sure-
making memories.
and look, not gonna lie, I remember the last 5 years because I've done a bunch of shit, and it's been awesome. I can just pinpoint cool trips we've done and certain things that we've seen that we didn't ever get to see before. So yeah, there is.
Man, outside of COVID,
Well,
as far as
the
the pandemic, that's about the only thing I can really. Other than that, it was just year after year of struggle, paycheck to paycheck.
Probably not the best time to do a
Nothing.
5-year backlog there. Yeah, that's fair. but even with that, still like let's say the last. I mean, out of the 5 years, you cumulatively had 3 years to actually do shit. Let's just say that.
Okay.
I can still go back and be like, yeah, man, we did this. We saw this part of the Caribbean. We saw this part. We went to Mexico. Like we saw all this shit.
Yeah.
And if we were down on our luck, we wouldn't have that. Our highlight would be fucking COVID.
Or your highlight would be like, we was able to go to Outback 2 or 3 times.
Right, like it's silly.
Like, I mean, what good is that extra 15 years of living
Right.
if it's going to be living struggling?
Right.
Like, I mean,
And some people will
who
say-
loves and revers and talks about struggling. I mean, childhood-wise, it was, I told you my childhood was legendary. We were struggling, we were poor, but
Right.
beyond that, I don't celebrate poverty. I don't celebrate
Who the fuck
hard
does
times.
that? I mean, you can always look in the past and be like, yeah, man, this is my I came up and I got out and I'm doing this, that, and the other. But you're not at bed at night like, remember when I ate fucking noodles for a week straight? No one's saying that. No one's saying, like, you may have that little kind of pop up.
Remember at work that whole week I could only eat Campbell's chunky soup because that's all I can afford. Like, you're not looking back
Right.
to that like it was
There
a
are
great time.
There's maybe sometimes you are looking and it's just a fleeting thought. It's like, yeah, man, I remember I used to struggle, and like if you came up and you're doing great, like you're 6-figure and you're banging it out and you love what you're doing and yada yada yada, like you may have those nostalgic thoughts like, yeah, man, I remember when I did that, and now I don't have to worry about that. I worked my way from it. Here's what I'm doing. Like, you may have that, but no one's getting the member berries and getting all the warm feels about,
Struggling.
right. Like, I had cereal with milk. That shit was great. And then I had cereal with water. It was even better. It's like,
Yeah.
what?
It lets me know that I can adapt to anything.
Right.
Come
Like,
on,
cool, you're a chameleon. That's wonderful. You're a fucking wizard. Congratulations.
Yeah, who's celebrating that?
All right, so we're back from our circle jerk. I won. So I'm gonna answer your question, and So my worry about this is I don't know if by just doing this it will change a ton, because there's still a chance it could still kind of happen via somebody else, but I would go back and not elect Trump.
Wow, just recently, huh? You're thinking of a recent event.
Yeah, because that guy's a fucking asshole. So my reasoning is he gave a bunch of voices to people that don't deserve voices. And
Well, it was one of those things where the voices were always being whispered in the shadows. It's just that he allowed these
he gave him a
voices
loudspeaker.
to a platform to
made it
speak
okay.
up, because those voices were slowly dying out. Not dying, they were just being more and more pushed into a closet where
Right.
these voices had to meet in more secret meetings, but
Right.
he gave them, a right to feel more confident in how they feel.
He bought them new hoods. So so that would be my change. And my worry is, I don't know if that still would have happened if someone would have came up like this DeSantis douche.
Yeah.
If he would have came up,
I think
via
it's
that.
one of
But
those things where
it's almost like if he didn't.
it's going to happen eventually. It's like all you're doing is putting it off. Inevitability is it's like, okay, if he didn't get elected, then you're putting it off for the next 4 years, and then maybe somebody would come along, and at some point there was going to be a Trump-like type person come along.
Yeah,
it was going to happen.
But I guess it's just my hope that, potentially delaying the inevitable, maybe those whispers became a lot less as they were, and maybe it wasn't as egregious as it is, because now that happened, we got on such a bad road, and just like any time a Democrat goes to Republican, or Republican goes to Democrat in the presidency, it's always a weird transition, but it's always tough to kind of overlap and kind of reinstitute what you're trying to do. But I think when he went in, he had such a presence and just influenced so many. I don't want to be that guy because I'm not political, but
that's what I'm saying. You really think his impact on office in 4 years is
not in office
detrimental?
Not in office, but on people. What he did to the. I mean, when's the last time someone attacked the fucking Senate? I don't know. Never. Yeah. So it's one of those. It's one of those things where I just. It's a hopeful thing that it would change, or at least halt that unfortunate regression that may or may not have happened. But that's my pick because
I can't believe you went that recent.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, I feel like it's a super. It's a super.
You think it's a super impact?
Absolutely, I really think so. And then they elected, a very elderly man that. Is just. I mean,
he's just there. But I don't know what he is. He's just there.
At that point, I think people would have elected a piece of toast because they're like, "Get this fucking lunatic out of office! We can't do this because we're about to." The national anthem was about to be like "White Power, White Power, White Power." It is a problem.
Clayton Bisbee would have been his right hand. If you got hate in your heart, let it out.
White power. It's just so I don't know. I just that's my spiel. So what do you got for me here? Let's answer your question. He still doesn't have one.
No, not really. I mean, but at the same time, I'm just thinking imagine if, you took some of the weapons that we have, and put them and you went back into World War I and used some of those machine guns or, some of those weapons that you have now in the U.S. Army. My God.
Do they have them too? Or are you just going in there with your cheat codes?
Put it this way, it's one of those things where it's a copycat world.
Okay.
So eventually, no matter who had them first, they're going to eventually be duplicated because they got scientists that sit in a room and they just wait to copy.
So then how would that be any different than it is now then? Would it?
Well, I mean,
it's kind
let's suppose the first, amount of weapons, I guess, would go to,
us.
Of course, America. I mean, will we be that? I mean, we're already severely ahead of pretty much almost every nation, probably except China or a couple of them. But if we had those, like, how much more would we be ahead? Like, would we as Americans would we go over to a different country and be looked to like gods because you're from America?
They would hate us more.
Yeah, okay.
Basically, just because what we would do is we would just stick our dick in other countries like we always do, even more. We'd just go even deeper.
Yeah.
And
but what would the weapons be like now? Like, it would be like
we'd have fucking laser beams. Like, we would be
like some old Star Wars.
Right.
Like, it would be shooting lasers. Yeah. Like,
yeah.
But yeah, that wasn't, impactful or anything like that. I mean, it was impactful. It's just that, like, it's still, like, that's, like, almost like a future question. And we kind of stand away from the future because you never know what, like, because if you went back in the past and installed or handed someone this, then now you're saying to yourself, like, what is the future? Like, what does that look like? Or what would today look like?
I'd go back and get rid of change. Like, physical change. No one carries change. Fuck that. Unless you need your Aldi's quarter, you're not carrying change.
Change.
Get rid of ones out of Monopoly. That shit out of here.
You said get the ones up. Yeah, what is the purpose of ones?
I've never played with ones Monopoly ever.
Hey, they don't do anything.
No. It's like,
it's just odd numbers.
You owe me 3. No, I don't. Fuck out of
here. But yeah, man, just sticking to the time is way more valuable than money. So it's
kind of a cool little, it's a cool subject we covered because, it really does give you a chance it gives you a kind of a look-see at, who you are. Like, would you go back and alter your past for the benefit of others, or would you do something impactful in the world? Me, I was like, I'm investing in Bitcoin because fuck you bitches. I want money. But
I changed mine because I'm sitting up there pointing to, some type of happiness in a relationship, but no, I want the money because I can find the happiness after the money.
And it sounds bad, but I don't think anyone faced with that kind of opportunity wouldn't take that. It just makes so much more sense. I would go back and I would marry my high school sweet. No, you wouldn't. Shut the fuck up. Like, it's if you're faced with I can marry my the high
not
school.
To put you on tilt.
Yep.
If we remove money, give us, because we all want some type of money.
That's fair.
That's why I ain't gonna say I didn't know you were gonna lead in with some type of money example, but that's kind of why I went to the fork in just thinking of my life and how it played out. Of course, I would want to make different money decisions. I also wouldn't go to college either because I think that's a money grab in itself, and we'll cover that in the future.
That's called a segue. So we take money out of the equation. What would I do?
What would you do in your way of life, in your walk of life? Is there any other point that you would grab a hold of? Put it this way. Your future self, with your knowledge you know now, would you go back to a certain young age and slap the shit out yourself and say, hey, man, you need to, and not money related?
Yeah. So I was raised by my grandparents.
Okay.
Mother was a piece of shit, never met my dad, yada, yada, yada. They raised me from birth. So essentially they were my parents. We established kind of the generational gap. I think it was on the last episode. I don't remember. It was on something. Just go listen to our library. It's somewhere there.
Yeah.
And was not the kindest of persons. Mostly because they didn't understand the generational gap, and nor did I. And obviously you're growing up and you're a little prick. It's just kind of what you are as a child.
Mm-hmm.
I would go back and I wouldn't change how I was, but I would apologize for it.
Yes.
I would apologize for it. I would thank them for what they did for me And if you think about literally going to court to get custody of you, to raise you on SSI, not having nothing,
Yeah, man, I got some deep regrets. I mean, I've said some horrible things to my parents, my mom and my dad, that I wish I could.
So I think I think that would, and what I did is kind of my penance, essentially, was I was a pallbearer for my grandma's funeral. And basically that fucking crushed me. Because all I could think is like, cool, I'm burying my mom. And so then after that, I just got a big bottle of Jaeger and cried on a hill. That was that day. But yeah, I never thought that was good enough. So I mean, not to end on a sad note, but it's one of those that if I do have a regret, that is it, treating them the way I did. I wasn't like a terrible kid, but it was just the rebellious and the rebellion part of it. And then as you grow up, hindsight is 20/20, and you don't realize what it is to take somebody in.
I mean, like you said, rebellious. I mean, I know I've grew up, and I've said, like I said, some horrible things. I mean, it was an arrogance. It was a cockiness, I was just saying, you're young and you think that you're going to, I'm young and I'm coming out of school and, I graduated second in my class. So I'm thinking I'm going to be this big hot shot in a couple years. And, I definitely talk shit like I was going to be rich in a couple years. And here I am at 45, still broke as hell. So that's like life played a trick on me. Like, I got you, so, yeah. I mean, it kind of reasserts to you that the time that you do have, with loved ones or just with people, you have to reinvest those moments, even when though, they might not do something that, you're upset about. They might do something you're upset about, or you want to, chew them out, or you want to, scream or yell. You almost have to like kind of pull back and enjoy the moments, man, because nothing's nothing's promised, man, and you never know when the next day or the next time. And like you said, COVID. I remember you said, COVID showed everyone that you need to value the relationships you have with loved ones, man.
And we're not trying to like impart life lessons or anything. We're not those people, but I will say this, and we can not end it on this because we have to give you a little teaser here, but tonight or tomorrow, whenever you listen to our podcast here, look at your wife, look at your husband, look at your kids, your mom, dad. Just look at. You don't have to sit there and say, "Oh my God, I love you so much." You don't have to do that, but just look at them and appreciate them because when they're gone, they're gone.
Because this thing called time we're talking about can take them at any point.
And then you're just left with memories and potential regrets. You don't want to do that. So don't go to bed mad.
And then one of your wishes, or you'll be using one of your time passes to resurrect the person that, you didn't get a chance to, square up with, or to, make good before they pass,
Yeah, because they're not thinking about it. You are. So, to kind of pivot off that, to give you our kind of teaser for next episode. So we're going to talk about college.
Well, I said I wouldn't go to college because, I mean, majority of the time, almost every job you got, you can be taught in training. It's like,
don't give them too much.
No, I'm not. It's just.
We're going to talk about the ebbs and flows of college.
Secondary education.
Is it worth it or not?
Does it serve its purpose? I mean, it's, to me, is one of the biggest scams going on in this country, but that's just my opinion. But I've been through the ringer, and, I'm student loans knocking on my door later. I'm not really seeing a benefit from it. So, but we'll tackle that because Rich has a nice, good opinion of it, and
I got both sides of the fence, and it's gonna be an interesting episode because
I am the Joker in this one, and he might be Batman because I don't have a lot of good things to say.
Well, the whole house cleaning thing, obviously we got the socials, we got the Twitter, the Facebook, the Patreon on there. I will say actually on next Wednesday, there's going to be 2 episodes released. I'm going to have a guest on, and unfortunately Jermaine's not going to be able to be here for that one, but we're still going to have our regular episode that night. Mm-hmm. So you are going to get a double kind of download, which is, that's awesome. So I'm definitely stoked about that. But
it's always a good thing.
Yeah, definitely getting more exposure, get some cool people on here, get them chatting about this, that, and the other. It's going to be a fun time. So you'll see more of that, info on the, like I said, the Twitter, the Facebook, YouTube. All those are in the description. Check out the BetterHelp as well if you're interested, if you're needing to kind of talk to somebody. It's there for you.
Yes.
Like I said, the Patreon thing, we may be trying to do something a little bit different for the giveaway on that, and we'll talk about that off air, and I may divulge that on one of the socials to let folks know, to kind of maybe drum up some more
gift cards or something.
It's something bigger than that, man. So it's going to be interesting. So
okay,
yeah. So we'll yap about that, but we will see you guys on Saturday and on the X's and O's, and then obviously on Wednesday the double download. So I'm pretty much spent on my side here. What do you got for me?
I'm like that dollar bill in the candy store. I'm spent as well. So there we go.
Fair enough. Well, I'm Rich.
This is Jermaine, and you just enjoy BDE Street.
Yeah, you did.